Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk, and we've got a dual view, a 430U driven by Pilgrim of Many Pilgrims, and a Object 140 driven by Geodan. They are here on a map that's called something. It's called Muravanka, spawned into the north on a standard battle. Headed over to the Magic Forest. Now, we'll get to what I'm laughing about in just a minute, although it's getting a little seasick, and it's related to that. But a platoon of tier 10 mediums going over to the Magic Forest, this seems like a good idea to me. You can see that the enemy team's got a chieftain. They've got an IS 7, but they're top tier in a 3-tier battle. A good matchup, actually, for them. Bummer if the T95 FV shows up over here, but he does not. Inexplicably, the guy takes his FV over to that side. There's no artillery, so it's a little bit better idea than normal, but my gosh, an FV absolutely dominates over in this little fight over here, and he's not here. So the boys of Clan GFLC are going to take advantage of that, and they kind of jump all over this Su-130 PM. A little bit curious why you guys didn't just really press all over him, but you're getting pushed from a couple angles. Both of you turn on these guys. Man, I think one of you should have just stayed up there and made sure that that guy went away. Kind of surprised he doesn't come in, or maybe he does come in. Does he get another shot? Yeah, he does take a shot at Geo, but he misses, much to his dismay, as Geo comes up and thumps him. And he gets pushed from behind, so to speak, by the IS-7, and a little bit of double team, and we've got the aggressive Su-130 player out of the game. A little bit of an exposure here. We take a hit for that. We come around here. I'm going to talk about this a couple times, Pilgrim, about the close-in maneuvering and good aggression and bad aggression. I think I would have let this building live until I reloaded. I don't feel any reason to kind of knock that building down and let them have a free shot at me until I'm actually reloaded. So we come in there, and he's got a shot, and boom, we take that hit. Nice little aim right there. We get a bounce and one pen. You see what I'm saying? You could have hid behind the building for a potato. Once you were ready to shoot, you could have broken down the building. Or even come out the side of it, take a shot side scraping, and keep using the building. Force them to either use a shell to knock it down, or to protect yourself from them even taking a shot. So we get a couple more hits on us. We're pushing a bit of a stronger force, actually. There were 4 or 5. One's dead, 2 are dead. There's another 4 of them showing up here, and we've got 4 guys and then a bunch of campers in the back. Who aren't, all those guys back there, they're not doing anything because the enemy's not coming up and over. You guys have stuffed them into the back edge of the undulations here. Pilgrim's going to pull up to the top side. Looks like the IS-7 has the same idea. And, of course, the Skoda is going to follow us. We'll come around here looking for a shot on the 430. Holy cow, that actually went right. I don't know where that went, to be honest. It looked like right into his turret. Maybe it got his turret ring. Maybe it hit one of his hatches right there. Doesn't matter because it takes him down. Down goes the IS-7, who was quite aggressive. And then Pilgrim's going to push in on these guys. He's got a 4202 on his side. Now, you don't want to leave that guy on your side too long because he will not have much trouble pinning the side of your 430U. Although there is some spaced armor that can give him trouble. Now, you get hit by the Centurion too. I would have just dove straight down into this divot right here instead of taking this left cut and left myself highlighted up there as long as you did. Now we're going to come around here, and again, we're going to talk about aggression and how I use my aggression, how the approach, the micro positioning and approach goes here. What's nice about this position is, and this is what Geodan's using, is he's in a low spot, but he can come up and he can show just his turret. You're going to kind of think about that, come around here, which I think is a good idea. But remember, the 4202 is back there, and you're looking at the Centurion 7-1 and saying, well, I want to get rid of him. Man, I would have just got rid of this guy right here. I'd have gone right to here and just shot that guy right in the back. This dude is dead. You'll have him in just a moment. I wouldn't even worry about him right now. But we're actually going to come around and take the shot on him. And then we keep pushing on. Again, the 4202 is back there. There may be something else that's unaccounted for. Probably not, because if you look over on the left, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 accounted for. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 with the dead. So there are 2 actually unaccounted for. So I thought a shot on the back of the 61 and then dealing with him later would have been a good idea. So the Type 61's making a runner. We kind of keep pushing in on them. You're not doing very well over on the west side of the map. Type 61's attempting to get one more shot. and he pays the price for that. And then I like this because you immediately turn around and head back. Looks like Geo's going to cut across the middle. Those are both valuable and valid things to do after you win the flank over here. There's no reason to push in and let their campers play the game at all. The 95-4201 has pushed in, but isn't getting a lot of support from his guys, so it looks like he can't get any further. There's the prototype, the Skoda, the T-34, and the Chrysler K. Now this is this is what I was laughing about earlier. We have now entered into the portion of the game that is Bumpy Ride Simulator 2020. Pilgrim, I don't know what you're doing, and I know I have a couple things I do. It's the zoom in, zoom out for me that annoys people, but I feel like I'm in the tank while I'm watching you play. It's like bump, bump, bump. Watch. Oh man, and okay, we're gonna look over here and bump, 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 bump. I'm sorry, brother. I don't know what you're doing right there. Sometimes as we get older, that's just, you know, stuff that happens. Stuff that happens. Bumpy Ride Simulator 2020. All right. Nice job. You went back. You really didn't get pressed to your cap, so you folded back into the middle. I think that's a fantastic move. Geodan's been doing some work over there. We'll get to him in a minute because he's going to drop some serious pain on the enemy. As a platoon, they're going to combine for about 10,000, really almost 12, 13,000 with their assist and a bunch of kills that we'll get to as we go. But Pilgrim moves up and posts up behind this building. I think that's a good idea. You don't want to go zinging in there because you've got the 4202 on near full health, and then there's a Chrysler K, and he's got overwatch by multiple guys. There's also a bat chat floating around in there, and him showing up at inopportune times and clipping people out is not something you want, so don't give them opportunities. While this looks like it's a runaway win, it gets a little closer than you would expect right here because the enemy team does a pretty decent job. We'll come in here, we'll get a crit, no damage, maybe a track in there, looks like, and we got to figure out how to get rid of the Chrysler K. I initially thought I might go wide and come over here into the flat and start shooting the Chrysler K, but there's still quite a few guys who are up on their hill who may be able to come around, as well as potentially the T-95. There's another building up here, I'll show you right here, that you could have moved up to and tried to get rid of the Chrysler K a little bit faster. The Chrysler is sort of anchoring this position and keeping you guys from moving in and getting up under the hills and being in a little bit better position to take these guys on who are sitting back here. Takes us a while to figure that out. Maybe a little bit better aim there would have maybe got to his lower plate. Chrysler takes a hit, and it looks like you're starting to think about maybe how do I get to this Chrysler K, because he's clearly the problem. The prototype dies. That's too bad because he was one of the guys behind there that was causing him problems. The 34, the Chrysler K, and the Scorpion, these are all guys that they spent the whole game hiding out behind things. So it's going to be up to the two mediums to get in here and make this happen. You do a nice job, come around here, aim in, and we got the Chrysler. And now it's decision time. Okay, do I go up here to the corner and start fighting the FV? Probably not. Looks like you don't have as much support as you would like to do that. Plus somebody could come up over the top here potentially, or even around the corner around, let's see if we get this map, coming around this area and getting shots onto you through here that these guys can't stop, although they're in a decent position to do so if someone actually rounds that corner. So we'll watch what you decide to do here. Looks like you're going to come up and over the top. Got a T-44. Do we have shots on him? Probably would look into those shots a little bit more than you are. Over top's not going to work very well, so it looks like you're going to cut right and then come around behind them. You do have some support back here, but they're all back edge. So getting into this little area is, for the moment, unsupported, but it is going to put them in a sandwich, which is not a bad idea because it looks like there's nobody here. So again, the aggressive push in, I would be really careful with that. I think I would have just slowed down and just came around very carefully with my aim in right here, with my gun online, and go, all right, which guy am I going to shoot? As opposed to coming out, whoa, we just really came out a long ways. Good news is they weren't looking at you, but let's say they kind of were paying attention and noticed you coming. You could have driven right into both guns right there. Now, pushing back and not providing pressure is hurting you as well. Your guys are doing their best, but you need to be right in that corner letting these guys know that you're about to push around and take them out. I don't know what the T-54's plan is. He just comes over here and dies. Probably trying to get a hold down shot on you. It looks like you're noticing the FV. Again, I would push in and pressure the FV. Was it interesting to me that you went up and high there? I think you could have already had a shot on him and, like I said, pressure him a little bit more. Looks like Geodan's doing some work on him. an allied shot goes in. See how he's not even paying attention? He just can't. So if you just stayed there and continued to give him trouble, I think you would have had a lot harder time fighting both of you guys right in there. So a few shots, I think, that could have gone in much faster. All right, so the Canonin puts a big hit on you. That sucks. He's hanging out back here in these bushes. No surprise. And it's evened up. We got a 10-9 game right here. A couple of your guys are hurt. A couple of their guys are hurt. The Bat Chat is still wandering around somewhere. And we're back to Bumpy Ride Simulator 2020. The FV is on full hit points. He could be trouble. I mean, he could, with gold, take you down before you could get reloaded enough to strip 1,400 hit points off of that guy. I thought that was a dangerous move right there. Looks like you kind of realized it and then try to cover up, coming back around the other way. The GSOR is raging around, attempting not to get killed. Oh, just would have been nice to have taken that guy out, but I don't think you would have done 500 to him. And I'm assuming you and Geodan are talking at this point. This was a little bit inexplicable to me, to be quite honest. I thought you were both moving in the same direction, and for the moment you are. And maybe you discussed splitting up, but what happens here is you're going to head into the Field of Dreams, into the Magic Forest, and he's going to actually go completely to the other side of the map. So he heads over to the west side while you go over to the east side here eventually. And I didn't quite understand the logic of that. I would have kept these two tanks together. I think you really could have just pushed into just about anything out there and pretty much owned them. And I guess that happens a little bit later than I thought. Yeah, I forgot about the GSOR. We missed that, but the Scorpion does not. That was a good kill. Boink. We back out there. Okay, so we do initially go to the same side of the map together, which was good. Now this is where you guys must have discussed some kind of split up, because I see you heading into the forest and he heads over here to the west side. Bat Chat goes down. The T-50 finally does something for the team. Gets over there, finds the Bat Chat. That was a good kill. That is not a guy you want to have show up. We're head back to the middle. So we really can't support each other, right? We got this big hill between us. If someone jumps all over you, no one's going to get to you in time, and they're pretty much going to own you if there's more than one. And we've got Geodan over here. So I didn't quite understand that. I think if both of you had come through this low spot here on the corner and moved into these buildings potentially. I know the Canonin is waiting back here somewhere, last known anyway. But you can actually approach this back forest area from this western approach in these buildings and trees and the undulations here fairly safely to get close and start lighting these guys up. Especially with a couple of hover mediums like these Russian ones. Thought it was dangerous to drive through the middle right here. You're going to get lit here. If you wanted to get into the forest and go around, I would have faded way to the north and came all the way around if that was the plan. This one seemed very strange to me, and I think you're kind of lucky that they didn't get a shot on you. And now you're seen, so they're like, oh, okay, I guess one of the hover mediums is going to go wander through the town right there. We come around, the Skoda is still, I don't know what he's doing, he's way over there. Hanging out in the east forest area. So you come over here and sort of link up with the Skoda. I thought you were going to go into the forest, and then you cut all the way back and go into the town. And we're back to Bumpy Ride Simulator 2020. It's fun. Holy cow. The object, and so now Geodan meta flexes all the way back around. Now he's kind of doing the approach I sort of figured you would do. Come up along the inside there, but you're away from each other. You're away from each other, and something happens here that surprises me a little bit. Looks like the T-44 has actually gone around that way. I'm going to try to get a shot on him. That gets us lit. It's not a great place to be lit. We're kind of sandwiched between him and whatever else might be over here. So again, another good reason to be in there with Geodan. We have Geodan pushing in. He crosses over, comes to the inside. We run into that building. Get out of the way, building. The Skoda, I don't know what he's doing. Trying not to die, I guess. What is his hit points? Yeah, so he can take one hit. And the Canonin gets lit, I'm assuming, by Geodan over there. Gonna wander back this way. He takes a hit, but you get the count on him. Now that's huge, because that's the hidden sniper guy, the X Factor that you don't want to have to deal with. We go back to Bumpy Ride Simulator 2020, and now we're gonna head over to the west side and kind of come around the edge. We know the T-44. For my money, I think I'd have pushed over and tried to get the T-44 out. I mean, you know where he was. That 4202 light is a very old light. We're going to come all the way back around here. We do have 4 minutes, so it's not bad. This is good. Now we're all together, except for the Skoda, who has proven himself to be just a bit of a nub wandering around. So, Puppy Ride Simulator. Cracking myself up. All right. Maybe it was too much tea. I don't know. Sometimes I get that way when there's too much coffee involved. I was surprised to not find anyone in here, but they are platooned. The 4202 and the T-44, and it looks like it was not a dynamic platoon because they're from the same clan, so more than likely they are together. And now we're just really, I'm starting to get seasick a little bit here. Now we're going to jump on the cap. I really think if you'd have both worked together and just kind of pushed into those guys, you probably would have taken them down pretty well, especially with the Scorpion G sort of backing you up back there. Eventually, the Skoda might have even been enticed into joining the game and actually playing. Come around here, you get into the bush. Geodan is off to your right, and then we're going to get a light. These guys are going to be forced to come back and try to decap. We're going to get a light on these guys pretty quickly, or does Geodan leave? Maybe Geodan leaves. Yeah, Geodan comes off the cap and says, no, let's go ahead and clean these guys up. Probably some discussion about that. You're not in danger of capping out. Geo's moving in. Let's see if we've got these guys nearby. He's about to find out for you. There we go. Somebody else gets off the cap, and now we find these guys, and it looks like Pilgrim, who, by the way, has 6 kills now at 2,500 damage, goes in here, and Geo is a little bit overextended, right? You guys are kind of far away. It takes you a while to drive in and get shots. 40-02-02 is right there. Geo is getting beat up by these guys. We auto-aim. Oh, yep. And so, again, the danger of auto-aim. That right now it looks good, but back there, it was probably just barely above the level of the ground where the center of mass was, and you end up shooting into the ground. 40-02-02 is in here. We're going to ram him. There we go. That gets rid of that guy. And then we'll come on in here. That actually lets Geo survive. We're at 7 kills. Can we get to 8? Again, the aggressive approach. That was another good example right there of the instinct to get in there and get that guy was good. Auto-aim was okay, but the problem was we didn't really investigate it too much, and we end up hitting the ground. So a little bit over-aggressive on the auto-aim use right there. The same thing sort of happens here. This guy gets a bounce, and then we shoot. I think if you just stopped right here, look at that. I mean, if you just stopped and zoomed in, you were going to have a nice shot. Now, you might have not wanted him to get another shot on you. That's possible, because you weren't going to one-shot the guy. Looks like we're trying to auto-aim. Oh, he bounces. That works. We bounce. That's kind of what I'm talking about making sure that you get that good shot in there. And we finally take that guy down. Did we actually roll a 467? Holy cow. That wasn't that high a roll, was it? Because it's a 440 alpha gun. 3,187. We get 8 kills. Nicely done in there. 10 kills total for the platoon. About 12,000 combined between the two. Both damage and assist, which means, of course, for the second look here, as we're going to go on to Geodan, Geodan's going to put down a bunch of damage. Plus the bonus of Bumpy Tank Ride Simulator 2020. All right, let's look at All right, we're going to rejoin the action with Geodan in the Magic Forest right here. As we recall, they came up and they start taking on the Su-130 PM. He misses. Yeah, I think Geodan, if you just push in on that Su-130 and take that guy down. That thing reloads so fast. Yeah, he kind of let that guy have another shot that he didn't deserve, but he didn't do much with it. That's nice. There you go. Nicely done with the auto-aim. A little crawl up the edge of the wall there, get your gun online, and down he goes. Well done. No harm, no foul to anybody. We get a little bumpy action right there. We're going to shoot that guy and bounce off of him. Nice little shot into his lower plate. Fighting the bad gun depression, but doing it nicely. That guy's a little higher than us right there, so no worries. Put another shot into him. And some nice tag team action, and we're up to 1,500 damage. Like I said, we just looked at Pilgrims. Pilgrim had a lot of kills. He was doing the cleanup, but Geo was dropping some coin on these guys. So let's see how that goes. He's up to 1,500 right now. Doesn't really want to get into that bowl and get shot by the good depression Centurion and the whatever else is up there. The Type 61 also with good depression. Sees his buddies headed up north, but then decides, does he actually follow? I don't remember what he did. He does follow right here. I might have stayed low and given the red guys a little extra something to think about, because I think you probably could have been in on the Centurion and in behind the Type 61 much faster. Yeah, you definitely could have been in behind them, causing them issues much faster if you just stayed down low and just waited for that push up to the top to develop. There we go, a little shot on the Type 61. I look for that a lot there, Geo. If I see a push changing the angles in a fight, if I can stay where we were initially kind of holding them back and they start to turn around and now I can provide pressure from a different angle, that's great. You know, it's the same reason that the guys turned around and went the other way. The reason being providing pressure from a different angle. Keep the pressure at the other angle, right? Don't everybody go up and around and give them an out. Because for a few potatoes that they didn't deserve, they were allowed to turn around and fight only your 3 that came around high. If you'd have put pressure on behind them, then they wouldn't have been paying attention to both sides. And the problem with that is often if you don't keep that pressure there, they're able to turn their attention to your guys pushing, and your guys pushing take more damage than they otherwise should have or could have. We come around here, we're going to find the IS-3A. Nice. A little shot on him. Look at the fast reload. That's the difference between the 140 and the 430U, is the fast reload and lower alpha on this tank. Nicely done. And we're up to 3,444 already. So now we push in, and we do have to be careful because we're kind of the lead element over here. The clowns that went down to the south are, again, be-clowning themselves. There's no reason for them to go around there. People do this all the time. I talk about it a lot. They win the flank, and they're going to try to head around here through the south, but this approach is so difficult when there's this many red tanks alive. They're all kind of up in this area back here, and probably a couple campers back in here. It's just very difficult to push through here without getting shot in the side constantly. So what happens is you get there, and then you get stuffed, and you're sort of sitting there waiting for a couple sniper shots on guys on the edge, and this whole fight, you can't affect this fight, and that's where the fight is right now. Well, nice shot on that guy. He covers up. It's like Geo's trying to figure out a way to take these guys on. I think you have a shot on him. I don't know what's blocking you. Maybe there's a building there or something. Yep, there's that little building. There's a little shed. You just knock that shed down, you'll have shots on that guy. And that's why I do things like that when I zoom out and go, what am I? Oh, I see. That's that building, and I know that building's destructible, so you could actually knock it down. So there's shot. Yeah, there we go. He comes out from around it. We kind of miss it. So just knock that shot, knock that building down. You've got all kinds of shells in this tank. Yeah, so I think we could have been working on that FV a lot better. I think what I would have done actually was gone up to this building, cover up against these guys up here, which clearly you're worried about, and you should be. Start using that bush, knock that building down, and start just pummeling that FV. That would have forced the FV back and given Pilgrim a few more options over on the other side. Finally, we sort of come around the other side of it. That's one way to get away from the building. We just come around over here. Oh, that sucks. That FV has survived several shots so far that he probably shouldn't have. Now he's got hold down. There we go. Put a little shot into him. The Chrysler K is gone. And this is where it's sort of the wheels come off a little bit right here. This big advantage is built, and we don't really have a good way to take advantage of the advantage. And really, I think part of it is you not getting a few extra shots on this FV earlier. that would have knocked down his hit points a little bit. Now we're being very careful and just kind of picking at guys. I think to a large extent you're right, because you can't really push in, although you are now out in the open. So I think after seeing all this, you probably could have got in there and got at him. This dude is surviving shots he should not survive. It's ridiculous. There we go. Just hitting into his upper plate, unfortunately. There we go. Now we're really starting to take him down. Little bounce on the hover medium. There you go. Getting a little bit of the damage back. FV dies, and now we're going to try to figure out, we got 5,000 damage. We're going to try to figure out how to leverage the win right here. GSOR actually pinned you. GSOR gets a piece of you. Bat Chat's making a runner near 100% hit points. Takes a hit from the 49. What's the Skoda doing? God knows. T49 is getting wrecked by other people. Does another big chunk of damage. The T49 is not going to survive, it looks like. Down he goes. All right. So, interesting. Let's see what happens here, because I didn't notice the Bat Chat thing going on over there. The GSOR just gets missed a couple times. And the Skoda, just what is that guy doing? What's his name? I hate my team. Oh, great. His name is I hate my team. Fantastic. I don't think they like you very much right now, Skoda. I don't know why you're there. I think, Geo, you may have been able to poke up over here and maybe get some lights on the guys in the backfield. Might be thinking about the Bat Chat, though, shooting you from behind. I don't know. He's probably used his clip, but he'll be reloaded relatively soon here. This is the part where we both fade back together, which I thought was a good idea, and then we're going to start to split up after we come around the corner. Finally, T44, we put a hit on him. That's helpful. Oh, of course it doesn't do damage. That is a bummer. And I tell you what, right then you might have been able to push into him down below with the other guys coming around the other side. Depending on how fast they reacted, though, they might have been able to gang tackle you. And, of course, the Canon and Jagdpanzer is sort of the X factor there. Scorpion gets the GSOR. Like we saw, you get spotted. So yeah, you're going to go ahead and cover up for the terrain with the terrain, just to avoid getting shot in the back. That's a good idea. Then this is where we split up. So I'm sure one of you or both of you will see the video and then can comment down in the comments what the actual plan with the split up was. People are yelling at each other. So we've got 5,342 damage, 1 kill. Gonna move around here, and this is the place, this is the direction I thought you two were both going to go. Like I said, I think if you'd have just hugged the side over here and moved up along here and kind of peeked around the corner together, if you didn't get lit, you could have crossed over to the buildings, which is kind of where you're going right now. You could do this approach too. It's another way to do it, all the way along the edge, and then you're using these bushes, little buildings, these buildings ahead of you, and unless they're up on the edge there, they're not really going to see you. Two of you together moving through this area would have dominated pretty much anything that you found over there. Sort of being careful. Yeah, so really you're sort of out of the fight right now, and not being together, I think, is hurting you. So we're going to back out. Let's go ahead and speed this up and see where Geo goes. Because we got Pilgrim sort of gets engaged with guys over here. There we go. Geo comes up to the top finally. Moves across. Heads on down. Does not get lit. That is SA of a kind. Sixth Sense is something of a de facto spotting mechanism. While it doesn't show you where they are, it can give you good clues as to where they are. It can also tell you where they aren't. So he gets lit right there, and he finds this dude. And he misses. That's how he takes that. Oh, that's a bummer. He did not want to take that hit, but he did. Stands in, kills him, guns down the Canon and Jagdpanzer. Well, that guy really got a nice shot in on you right there. We're going to head over around this way. This is where we're finally getting together again, I think is a good idea. Scorpion G's already in the backfield, so clearly there's nothing back in there. So it looks like those two platooned mediums have buggered off, and as we know, they head down to the southeast corner. So Geo comes up top, seeing if you can get a light on anything there. Scorpion's moving into support, and then Geo heads back. I'm assuming to try to use some of the cover here, or at least not get too close to the southeast area where he thinks those guys are. They kind of have to be, and then the Skoda bails out of the spot he's been sitting in. All right, so Geo comes in here, but I'm just going to speed this up. He decides he's going to cap, and he decides he is not going to cap. There we go. Pilgrim comes onto the cap, and then he gets off the cap. So I don't, I'm not really sure what the plan was here. I guess just decided to go ahead and get more damage. We're at 5,500. All right, finally we go on in. We're going to find the 4502 first. He's in here somewhere. There he is. Auto aim, gets a shot. He eats a shot. Looks like he's trying to circle. Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, okay, he's going for the T-49 for cover. Okay. Takes another hit. Puts one into the 4202. I think just a face hug on the 4202 right there would have been a great idea. You hit a couple more times. Now we're ammo racked, and that's a bummer. We're looking at our friend saying, "Where are you?" We take another hit from the T-44, who low rolls. Down goes the 4202. I think we're both ammo racked in here, aren't we? Gets a bounce off the T-44. That was weird. Did that change from 180, 180? Well, that must be some kind of weird artifact. Look at that, 180, 180 for 360. That was very strange. Somehow the replay thinks it registered 2 180 hits. Pilgrim pushes the guy back, so he's no longer in danger of killing Geodan. They're in a big circular fight right there. Geodan actually gets a running shot. Is this going to hit? Yes, it does. Oh my gosh. I remember the hit going in on the T-44, but I didn't realize that's what it was. And finally dies with the slight high roll. We're at 7,098, 1,230 assists. Nicely done, guys. An 800 bounce off of the mighty Object 140. Wow, that was pretty cool. That took a long time to get her done, but 10 kills. Like I said, about 12,000 combined. I think the biggest thing for me on this was that mid to late game part where you split up, and it looked like we're sort of, feeling it by braille, trying to figure out what to do right there. If you'd have just stuck together and moved to one side of the map or the other, and I think really the best side would have been over here on the west side, best side, west side. West is best over here, and just come down this one column and clean through here. Together, you'd have pretty quickly probably found the Cannonen, because it looks like the medium's buggered off anyway. Or you'd have found all three, who cares? Take them on with your hover mediums. These guys with the Scorpion as backup, eventually the Skoda would have noticed they're in there and then come around as well. As it was, that's not where they were, but you would have found the Cannonen, and then we could have done more or less what we did right there. And again, going off alone as a platoon, that's kind of a dangerous thing. That's what you sort of did. You went, I'm coming off the cap. Again, that discussion will have to be, you'll have to let us know what that discussion was down in the comments. But you kind of bail off that first. You're down in that pit, and nobody can really help you right there. So it got a little dicier than it should have, I think, is really the major point right there. But all that being said, really great game, guys. Thanks for sending that in. It's always good to see it from two different positions, especially as a platoon, so people can look at both good things that platoons do and potentially bad things that platoons can do. That is all I've got for you today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support of the channel. If you're looking for other ways to do so, you'll find those down in the description. We will see you.